Our next speaker is Tom S. from Oregon.
Yo, I'm Tom. I'm an addict. I think you left this up here. We'll get it back to you. I'm an addict and grateful to be here. I got some new teeth and I haven't spoke with them. I can say shit, but serenity's harder to say. Looks like I got a lot of time. This meeting goes till 11:30. Is that right? No problem. Nobody's going to fall asleep, man. Can't see anybody. And, yeah. You know, I was talking to a guy, said I'm going to the World Convention, and you can hear me. I don't have to get too close to this, do I? Oh, man, why am I asking anybody anything? I ain't doing that no more. So I said, I'm going. I don't want to go speak. I don't want to go do that. I don't want to talk. I don't want to... I just want to go enjoy my convention and relax. I don't want to have to get nervous and all that stuff. And he said, oh, bullshit. He said, when you were new, you wanted 20 years and to be a big-time speaker. And I said, well, yeah, I guess I did, didn't I? I did. And so here I am today. My clean day is December 30th, 1984 meeting, just because I want to say it, that would be 22 years, 8 months today, but who's counting? You know. Hey, and you know how we are. We got to get that 8 months in there. It's been a wonderful journey, and it started with fear. I grew up with fear. I know fear, and I was telling Lindy I want to. The only thing I really have on my mind is talking about Dan, and I'll get to the thing that has given me the most fear in my whole life. And I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about how God working through the steps in Narcotics Anonymous has given me freedom from that fear, and how faith has been a process. We got I'm going to do this. Watch this. We got a thing here. Our message, hope. Our message, hope. Our promise, freedom. This is a visual for you guys. Yeah, how do you like that? And right in here, without faith, I'm not getting from hope to freedom without faith. So that was kind of cool. How'd you like that? My story is somebody liked it. My story, since I got a lot of time, I'm going to tell you, I was a good kid. I went to school every day. I got good grades. I showed up for class. I was an athlete. I was a good little kid, and it didn't work. It wasn't working. And by the time I was, I guess, about 16, I'd started hanging out at the bowling alley, and then I went down to the pool hall one day. And that's where I met the beautiful people. People like John. Liars. And thieves. The beautiful people, man. And I got high. And I wondered, why I hadn't been doing that before. Oh. And I wondered why didn't everybody do it. It was beautiful, man. And within 2 weeks, I think I drank some alcohol. I smoked some pot. I smoked some cigarettes. I had some sex for the first time. And I took speed in 2 weeks from a good kid, to the gutter really fast. And then my addiction progressed. And it progressed very rapidly and very quick. And within a few months, I'd been arrested, and I wasn't guilty. But I was actually innocent. That was the last time I was innocent. And I ended up getting a resentment if I already didn't have it, because they did me wrong. Anyway, within 3 years, I was in Rocky View Jail. 22 felonies, actually, and 2 of them which they dropped because the snitch that was involved in all those got killed. And I was starting to get an education, and not the kind I don't think I should be getting. I'm talking to convicts and stuff about, what do you think's going to happen to me? Oh man, first time probably only 7.5 years, and I probably should ask my lawyer instead of them. But what I want to say is, I got a lot of time, so I'm going to say a lot. Geez, this could be fun. It was 1969, and the Vietnam War was going, and I had long, beautiful hair, and I didn't want to cut it because it was pretty, and I didn't want to go to boot camp, and there was a lot I didn't want to do. I wanted to keep getting loaded. I didn't want to kill nobody, and I'm not disrespecting anybody that fought in any war. I just was a coward, and so I ran, and I'm on the run, and I'm hiding out with a girl named Pearl, beautiful redheaded girl. And so what happened was, what did happen? Oh, I'm riding in the car with my friend one day, and he said, "Hold on a minute, keep the car running. I got to do something. We may have to get away quick." And he jumped out and stole an old lady's purse and jumped back in the car and said, "Go." And I went. And my first mistake was that I took half the money, $150. Lady was wearing a mink coat. She was an aunt of a dope fiend friend of ours who OD'd and died a few years later. And a couple of days, weeks later, he came back and he says, "Let's go do that again." I said, "No, I ain't going to do that." And this guy was persuasive. And what I want to tell you about my fear is I didn't have a voice. I couldn't stand up for myself and say no to anybody. This guy was a good manipulator, but I did do what I did, and I did not want to do it, and I couldn't not do it. I was on the run. I had no money. I'm using, and he says, "You're implicated in this anyway, so come on, man. It ain't going to matter now." So I said, "No, man, no." And I drove, and he did it, and then I did it, and one lady got a broken arm, man. She had 6 cents in her purse. I could still hear that lady screaming, "Give me back my purse." And it haunted me. Eventually, of course, we got arrested, and there was a lot of stuff, and there was 18 counts of unarmed robbery for knocking old ladies down and stealing their purses, man. I was 19 years old, and I was a good kid. I was buying marijuana with the money. And so I started to have no freedom for myself at all. I hated myself. The self-loathing was tremendous. I respect and love women, and look what I did. I frightened those old ladies out their life, man. I ruined it for them. And I started shutting down, and I have no faith at all in me, in God, in nothing. And so, of course, my addiction progressed, and I kept using, and I kept using, and I kept using. And I'd have those days of desperation, quiet desperation that addiction knows so well. I used to watch Perry Mason, 12 o'clock. I needed to get a job, man. And I needed a job. And I wouldn't get up in time to get a job, like the people that get a job. But so I'd go, well, I'll watch this Perry Mason at noon, see, and after that, I'll go get me a job, man. I really will. I can do this. I can face this fear because the fear told me I don't have any skills. I don't know how to do anything. And then the disease says, well, they ain't going to pay you what you're worth anyway. I mean, I ain't even looking, but I'm already saying I don't need it because it ain't good for me, So that Perry Mason be on for an hour. Of course, it's in black and white. Sometimes I'd have a color TV, but it was in black and white. Back in the old days, sometimes that TV would be not even worth $10, with the pliers on it and the coat hanger. But I'd watch Perry Mason, man, because I didn't have a life. And so at 1 o'clock when that Perry Mason was over and I was going to go, okay, man, I'm going to go get the job, the sound of the 1 o'clock movie would come on, the theme song. And I would hear that sound and I was paralyzed to move by fear. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I didn't do it. And every day I didn't do it. I went and got loaded. And that was the desperation that I knew, and the loneliness, and the fear, and the pain, and the insanity, and I was caught in the grip, man, of something way more powerful than me. So I kept on going. I think it was another 15 years after that first initial purse snatch thing. And I had gotten in some more trouble, and more and more and more. In 1977, let's go. I got married, and this lady and I, Nancy and I, lived together 10 years loaded. And after about 3 years into that marriage, I can say she needed somebody to control and I needed to be controlled. That's how we met. And it worked for a while, and she was loaded, and I'm glad somebody understands that one. And we ended up, I had a little trouble one week, two drunk drivings, 2 hit and runs, and an attempt to elude in a week. Just a bad week, nothing unusual about it, except I got caught. That's all. And so they frowned on that one, and I'd already had a little bit of this and that, and I'd been on probation since I was 18, every day. And I'd violated some of this and that, and so it was looking pretty bad, and so I took my toothbrush to court. You know how that goes. You're hoping for probation, but you better be prepared. And back then you could get away with it. I'd done some other stuff, but anyway, where I got lost. Bad week. So the judge sent me to 10 meetings in 1977. And, I couldn't see through the delusion that I was under. And so I went to a meeting. It was on a Wednesday night. It was a good meeting, and it was a podium. It was an AA meeting. The guy got up and he talked about drugs, and he looked right at me. I must have said I was new, and there was laughter and magic in there, and I couldn't hear it, and I couldn't feel it, and I really was surprised that there was something for these people. I was glad I was not like any of them. And so guess what happened? I went to 4 of those meetings, signed for the other 6, and went about my business. And so what ended up happening was it didn't work, and a couple years later I'm in treatment in 1979 in southern Washington, and I'm in some more trouble. Another drunk driving, a couple of violations or something. And I want to look good for the court, and so I go to treatment. 21 days. And I learned about the disease, and I thought I'd just quit that one drug and I'd be okay. And I thought if I smoked dope when I got out and didn't get paranoid, I'd be fine. And I did, and I wasn't fine, but I kept doing it. And the story is just boring to me, but 5 more years now of going to meetings, counseling, therapy, special interest meetings, hypnosis, I did it all. And I lied, and I was loaded the whole way through, all the way through, all day. And there were good people trying to help me, really good people. And about the last year of that, I wanted it. I wanted to stop using it, and I couldn't, and I didn't. And I was praying and everything, and going to meetings, and I got to the point where I could go the whole day without using, and then I'd go to the meeting, and then on the way home I'd get loaded. Could not get loaded. So I understand how people struggle, and I know what it's like. So anyway, I went on to a lot of different kinds of meetings, 3, 4 different kinds. And I was in a meeting one night on December 30th. My wife took me to the meeting. We went together. She got loaded on the way to the meeting, and I didn't. And that's the night that some guy said, "Hey, man, why don't you give it up for 60 days? He said, "You never tried nothing yet." He said, "You can go back to it. just try it for 60 days. And I thought, man, it sounds so much better than 90 that I think I'll do that. And then, surprise, surprise, the wife said, you know, I'm an addict too, and I'm going to try it too. So, thus began our journey into recovery for real in Narcotics Anonymous. And, man, I was, letting go of my best friend. I had dope in the house I had to sell to pay for it, and I did it, and I climbed a tree and cut myself. I was so angry I was giving up. And I've been clean ever since, and so is she. And that's how I still have one more day clean than her. Very important. She got loaded. I didn't. So, now we're going to get to the good stuff. I was so high from not being high, it was like a new drug. I went to meetings every day. More than one. Talked in every one of them, right out the side of my neck. Terrible. But you tolerated me. And I stayed clean for the first year on meetings, pretty much. Chairing meetings, making stupid jokes, being a fool. And so anyway, at about a year, a guy came to my year birthday, a guy wrote in my thing, he said, we could sure use your help and service. And I thought, well, I heard you can go to the jail and talk to people. I'd love to do that. They can't talk back, can they? And so I got to go to the jail, even at 1 year clean. Got in through the other fellowship at that time. And they were screaming and yelling for Narcotics Anonymous. And I was on the H&I committee. And, well, I got a little ahead of myself. Let's just say that that second year, I still talked a lot. I still was full of myself. I thought I was so cool and, shared in every meeting and for a long time. And at 2 years, my loving sponsor said, man, you got to quit chairing so many meetings. He says, you ain't the center of attention here. I thought, well, yeah, okay. So, where I'm at a meeting, there's 7 people, nobody would chair. I decided, well, nobody's going to do it. I'll chair the meeting. And I right into that, my sponsor walked in. I was busted. He says, man, you ain't Mr. N.A. You need to be quiet. I want to put you on 30 days silence. And I said, well, man, I'll do it if you will. Kind of like that. He says, you're not, N.A. will go on without you. You need it. It doesn't need you. Who do you think you are? I'm sure he said it in a loving way, but I thought, hey, who do you think you are? Kind of. But I respected this man and I loved this man. And so I did it. He said you can go, it's in January. And if it's a birthday meeting and they call on you, say something nice about them and shut up. And January was birthday month and I went to a lot of birthday meetings. I was such a sad case. People thought, would you get loaded? What's wrong with you? Because I wasn't talking. I go, no, I'm on silence. Like I was real cool, And so, still full of myself. But what happened was I got to hear the people that talked for 10 minutes in every meeting or more. And it was me. And it made me sick. And I saw me. And I started to get it. And I started to learn how to listen. And at 2.5 years clean, I became the H&I chair of our area. Hey, ain't I cool now? I'm the chair of H&I. That's why I went for it. Ego. And what turned out to be was a lot of work. And it was a good time to be chair of H&I. The jails were just open and, up for us addicts and to bring Narcotics Anonymous inside. We had been talking through the glass. So again, what little bit of faith I'd gotten, got me rolling and going and doing the jails and getting to be in the first jail meeting with that sponsor. Also at 2.5 years clean, my wife and I started taking young girls into our home. And they were little criminal drug addicts, just like me and John. And they were hurt and they were sick, and they were in the system, and they thought they'd try this treatment thing rather than go to jail, and we would take them home with us. They would live with us, and we would try to help them. I would take 2 young girls to meetings all the time, all kinds of meetings. I would be with 2 or 3 different young girls. People thought I was a perp. And so I was fighting men off of them and everything. And what I learned was unconditional love. And I learned how to become a giver. And, I learned how to care. And I learned a lot about this disease on-the-job training in my home, in my face. I learned how to meditate. I learned how to take a time out before I reacted. I saw my dad's finger on the end of my hand one day. I thought, whoa. And I got a real good education. And for 5 years, we took these young girls into our home and we helped them in their recovery. And today, many of them are still in our life so many years later. Our first girl has 19 years clean. And it's pretty amazing. And one of them just had 3.5 years, and she went out and she got loaded and she wrecked her car and got arrested one night out, 3.5 years. And another one's in treatment, and another one just had my wife has seen 11 babies delivered, I think, or something like that. But anyway, getting back to these girls, 5 years they lived with us. It was insane. I was doing H&I. I was doing me. I was doing my recovery. I started sponsoring guys, and along came Dan. Well, first there was Harold. Harold lives here in San Antonio. Harold's in the audience tonight, and he was an angry man. And I learned how to stand up to angry men. Again, my fear of confrontation and my fear of angry people or just anybody, I got to face with Harold. And Harold has 19 years clean and is here tonight. And he's made some remarkable changes and he's a doctor, got a doctorate, and he's a teacher of religious philosophy or something, and I don't even remember. And that's the last thing you'd think what would happen. And so I got to be a part of that. And I want to talk about Dan because he's doing a workshop tomorrow at 4:30, Ballroom A. And he's going to talk about me. I haven't got heckled yet. Anyway, Dan came along. 6.5 years I had. Thank God I had some recovery. Thank God I had Nancy to help me deal with Dan. Harold had hung up on me, and I'd been real spiritual and told him to go do something that wasn't very pretty, and left for a while, and then came back, and then Dan. Well, geez, we got time, Dan. Dan had 19 days clean when I met him in a beautiful Saturday night NA meeting, very spiritual and nice meeting, 15 of us. Dan interrupted someone sharing and said, "You're all a bunch of effing spiritual dickheads." In only a way that Dan can do. And I thought to myself, which is always a mistake, man, that guy could use some help. Maybe I could help him. Oh, my God. "Will you be my sponsor?" he says after the meeting. 19 days clean. Dan and I have been together for 16 years. Dan told me in the room the other night, he goes, "Man, I'd do anything for you." And I said, I know, Dan. He says, "No, man, no. Man, I'd do anything for you." And I said, "I know. You've been demonstrating that to me for 16 years. I've never been with a man that long. Any kind of relationship." We came to this convention and we've tried to hug 300 people a day. We've been close pretty much every day. We've been feeling the love, giving the love. Circumstances we needed to move, it came through, and we had the George Carlin tickets. It's too bad George can't be here to hear this. we wanted to give them away, but we didn't know who to give them to. And but we knew that God would provide someone for us. And this is how faith works, and trust and stuff. And so Dan calls me this morning, I think it was, and he goes, "Man, hey, I gave away your ticket." And I go, "Yeah, I knew you would." And he says, "I met these people, and man, they're hurting, and she's sick, and they don't got nothing." So I gave him some money. I told him to take his wife to dinner and go to George Carlin tonight. And you see, Dan's a giver. He even gives my shit away. But if you hang around givers, you will be a giver yourself, and you will become free. Freedom from myself has come from giving through the steps of Narcotics Anonymous, especially the 3rd and the 11th step. It's what it's all about. It's what we've been doing. It's what Dan and I have been doing for a long time. And Dan, I'm going to try to go through this because Dan's interwoven in all of it. When I had 8 years clean, my sponsor, Perry, went out. And he got loaded, man, for a few days. And he came back and he got 2 more years clean. And I got a different sponsor, of course. And he went back out, and he was shot and killed. And that was the man that taught me how to be with men. That was the man who taught me how to be a friend of men. That was the man who told me at 8 years, he says, "Man, how many of them purses did you steal?" And I said, 18. He says, okay. He goes, "How many of them girls live with you?" I said, 18. He said, "Well, did you ever think that by helping them girls you were making amends to yourself for hurting those old ladies?" And I said, "No, I never would have thought of it. If I'd have thought of it, it would have ruined it. I never thought about it." He says, "Now, I know you did an 8-step list. I know they were on them. I know you became willing to make amends to them all. God provided a way for you to do it. Do you feel better about that?" And I did. And I started to get freedom from the thing that haunted me the most. Freedom from hearing that old lady screaming. Freedom from seeing and fear about seeing old ladies and places where it haunted me. And I got freedom. And God has blessed me with many women to help nowadays. I know I'm going to get to that one. But back to Dan. Dan, at 8 years, I found out I had the hepatitis C. And that was my first big fear. That was a big one. Back then, 14 years ago, they said, "Hey, you got 5 years to live, man." That's what they told us. What? And man, I got into the 11th step. I did some serious meditation, and I got right with God. And I got faith. And I got the freedom from worry and pain and what if and when and how bad and all that. I got it. It happened. All I had to do was ask. I prayed and I meditated, and I got free. And so I don't know, it was about 9 years, I guess it was. Where am I? Dan. 9 years clean. I was sick, and I'd lost my sponsor, and I got a new sponsor. And anyway, I lost it. Nancy and I separated. Oh, that was later. Okay, where am I? All right. Okay, yeah, let's go to that. Nancy and I separated when we were about 14 years clean. I had been very selfish. I was full of myself again. I wasn't listening to her. I wanted to go to conventions and golf tournaments on my days off, and I worked weekends, so we never had any time together, and it just ate her up. She's a beautiful woman. And she told me, she goes, because I talk to her all the time, and she said, "Oh, you're speaking on faith?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, you'd be perfect for that because you are someone who had the least amount of faith of anybody I've ever met in my life." And today, that's not true. Anyway, I'm scattered. 9 years, 14 years, I got prostate cancer. Oh, wait, Nancy and I separated. Okay, I got it. You can just skip that part. Nancy and I separated, and who was there for me? Who was there calling me every day for 6 months? Dan. I'd cry on the phone. I hurt so bad. Dan. And, I had this fear that it was Tom and Nancy, Nancy and Tom that had been staying clean, and that, that it was, that I don't know what I was going to be. I don't know what I was going to do. I didn't have a home. Where am I going to go? I haven't even written a check that's good, and I was almost 50 years old. I only writ bad checks, and I didn't know what to do. And I had Dan, and I had other people, and I had a lot of love, and of course, I wasn't going to get in an NA relationship, but she came along and chased me down, and she got me. And she was a beautiful, and is a beautiful, wonderful woman. 11 years clean today. We lasted 3.5 years, and because of my selfishness and self-centeredness, geez, same thing Nancy said. We're not together anymore. But along in that process of being with Jeanette, I got the prostate cancer. I'm going to tell you all about my health issues here, because it's about love. It's about freedom from myself. And when I got that was another kind of scare of fear. And I was like, oh, okay, you got prostate cancer. Oh, what's that mean? We're going to cut you. And it might change you, but you'll live. Okay, go ahead. Who was there? 5:30 in the morning. Dan. My mom and dad, my girlfriend, and my ex-wife. Beautiful thing. The doctor loved that. So there I was, with fear again, but I had more faith. I knew it was going to be okay, even if it wasn't. What are you going to do? Do it. Get the surgery. The biggest fear I had was taking the drugs after, really. And it worked, and I'm blessed, and I'm lucky, and God provided me with another life. 9 lives are up now. And so along that, then Jeanette and I separated, and why am I talking about all that? Well, there's a reason. And so we, God, if this place was full, I'd have more energy. Thank you. Well, it is. I'm full of something. I received so much love during that time, not just from Dan. I received love from everywhere. I received much love. I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know people loved me like they did. And it was uncomfortable at first. They were telling me they loved me, and it felt uncomfortable until I realized, again, it wasn't about me, and that I had to allow them to tell me they loved me, because it was about them, and they needed to do that. And when I found that freedom again. And I was able to get the message that now it's up to me to give that love out, because I was given so much of it. That's my mission now. I've been spared again, and that's why, to give love and give it hard and give it to everybody and give it at work and even on the golf course, and love and be of service. And that's what I started doing, even more than I had been, and I'd been doing it all along, believe me. And so I did. And so then I know I'm missing stuff. I got sick again. This is about 3 years ago. And I didn't know what was going on. And I'd be sick, and I'd get chills, and I'd be shaking. And, of course, I got to say that I probably did it to myself. I was 20 years clean, and I was fat. And I thought, I had a little look good thing going, so I thought I'd lose some weight. And so, typical addict, all or nothing. I was eating everything, so I quit eating anything. And I went on a raw food diet. Nothing but raw food. 4 months, pretty much. A couple of scrambled eggs every now and then, some tomato soup sometimes. And I lost 50 pounds, but I also, being with a bad liver and all, and being old, Didn't know I had what you call latent TB, and it turned out to become active TB. Very sick. I had a fever for 4 months, as high as 105 many times. And I couldn't even go hear John speak one time, man. And I was sick. I couldn't do anything. I went to work and slept, and slept at home, and sleeping was my relief, except for one more thing. It was when people called on the phone, I got out of it. I got to talk to people, and my sponsees were there, and who did my dishes? Dan. Yeah. And this time I was given much more love, 10 times more, because I'd been giving it out. I got so many calls, I got so much love. It was so beautiful. It's so amazing to give and to receive and to ask for help. I got some wild sponsees. I got one I call Cable Boy. Because he calls, I never know what channel he's on. He's better than cable TV. Every day. 3 times a day most days. Love the guy. Real sick guy. My kind of guy. So I've been going through a thing, and he tells me, he says, 95% of the men in the world do not ask for help because of fear. And so while I was sick, I had to ask for help. And I did. And it's so beautiful to ask and receive help from people. And it just warmed me up, and it carried me, and I was being prayed for, and I was being carried, and I was being loved, and it was a beautiful thing, and it just lifted me up, and it got me through a very difficult thing, very, very difficult thing. So now here I am tonight. I'm healthy. I feel good. My liver held up through all this. I'm doing good. There's no more TB. I'm pretty again. Yeah, and I didn't golf for a year, and I'm a golfing fanatic and a tournament golfer and all that, and I got my golf back, and I'm playing good, speaking at the World Convention. Life is good, man. Life is good. How's that happen? Is that me? No. That's God working in my life through the steps of Narcotics Anonymous. The third step is all about faith. All about faith. And the 11th step is where I'm at, practicing these principles, is the 12th. But to not be afraid of where God will take me, and God will put me where I'm supposed to be, and I know it. And here's where I'm supposed to be. And God, I didn't want to talk about this very long. No, I like to talk, but Jesus. I've been going along, and I've been helping people, and I'm just active, and I'm active, and I'm more active today than I've ever been, and I've been active the whole time, and that's how I get freedom from myself. I have the faith to know that God has put me where I'm supposed to be. I am a recovering addict whose really sole purpose is to help people, and so they can turn around and help others. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. I love it. It's why I'm alive. It's why I'm free. And so I'm helping all these women. And I'm still helping women because I still feel I'm making amends to women. And thank you. And I help a lot of women, and I'm safe, man. I'm a good man, and I'm not stupid, I don't do none of that stupid stuff. And so my mother, I talked to my mother a little while ago, and my mother taught me how to respect women and love women. And so there's this girl, and I've been helping her, and she's special. Very special girl, going to help a lot of people. And, I've been helping her, and then I've been helping her, and then now I'm falling for her. And I've been falling for her for a long time, and I fell for her. And this is fun talking about this. One day, a few weeks ago, and I've been good, I've been right, because it's right, because this girl needs help. And she kissed me, and we kissed for a few days. Lost my mind. acted like a fool. And she came to her senses, and she said she's not ready, and I know that. And she's putting her recovery first, and that's right. And there's a lot of reasons why we aren't going to be together, and I'm going to be her friend. But it drove me, man. I couldn't believe, when she kissed me, the music sounded better, and the light, the sky got bluer, and I could see the birds all of a sudden, and I started thinking, and I couldn't believe a girl like that would be interested in a guy like me, It's very special, very beautiful. And I lost my mind. I acted like a fool. And that's why I'm not, I'm kind of low-key tonight. That's not my style. But anyway, I've been hurting, and I came here and got filled up. I've been running to people that have been just loving me and praying me up. She still loves me. She wants to be my friend. There ain't nothing wrong with that. She didn't reject me. It's just that I got in the way, and for quite a while now, there's been no distance between me and me. None. That's all it's been, is me. Me. My selfish desires. My hopes. My dream. Me. Me. That's sick. And I got sick. I'll tell you, man, I couldn't even eat. I couldn't sleep. And just because there's some of my real close friends here, I couldn't even shit for a few days. I'm telling you, man, I was sucked up. Sucked up. And, I'm getting free from it. Because faith tells me that no matter what, God's good. And God's going to put me where I'm supposed to be. It's always been that way. I'm going to be fine. It's all right. It's a good thing. I could not have said that 3-4 days ago. Guess who's been helping me? Dan. Dan says to me, he goes, man, it might get worse. It might get worse. But I love you, man. I'll do anything for you. I got to tell you, if you're not sponsoring and getting the freedom that gives you, you got to do that. I felt like my heart was breaking. But someone said to me, well, try to think of it as your heart breaking open. And then another gal, I'm at the meeting last night, the big meeting at the Dome there, and I'm just walking around hugging people like we're doing, hugging everybody, y'allers. And there was a woman, and God, all of a sudden I'm standing in front of her, and I hugged her. I said, I'm Tom, I'm from Portland. She goes, oh, baby, what's going on? Tell me what's going on with you. No, I went into this girl thing, and she looked me straight in the eye, and she goes, oh, baby. She goes, you're a very attractive man. Very articulate. You're beautiful. She said, you ain't going to have no trouble. She'd be lucky to have you. He says, if you can stay in the moment, you're going to be okay. And then she said something like, why don't you just try and forgive yourself and accept her for where she's at? Whoa. And it was like, man, who is this lady? Ann from Texas. Beautiful lady. Don't know her. And I've been getting those kind of things all around here. And I want to get off that girl thing, and I want to talk more about faith and freedom through the steps. I got a lot of time left, man, and I hope it comes to me real quick. What I'll do is I'll read. Because this is in More Will Be Revealed where this topic came from. I know you guys are getting tired. But good meeting starts on time and ends on time. I'm going to have to fill this time, aren't I? Yeah. This is in More Will Be Revealed, page 100, down at the bottom. It says, today we have the freedom of choice. As we work the program to the best of our ability, the obsession with self is removed. Much of our loneliness and fear is replaced by the love and security of the fellowship. That's another thing Dan said. I'll get to that, Dan. Helping a suffering addict is one of the greatest experiences life has to offer. Helping a suffering addict is one of the greatest experiences life has to offer. We are willing to help. We have had similar experiences and understand how fellow addicts as no one else can. We offer hope, for we know that a better way of life is now real for us. And we give love because it was given so freely to us. I'm a giver of love, man. New frontiers are open as we learn how to love. Love can be the flow of energy from one person to another. That's one that Will turned us on to. By caring, sharing, and praying for others, we become a part of them. Through empathy, we allow addicts to become a part of us. As we do this, we undergo a vital spiritual experience and are changed. Vital. And are changed. On a practical level, changes occur because what's appropriate to one phase of recovery may not be for another. We constantly let go of what has served its purpose and let God guide us through the current phase with what works here and now. Here and now. As we become more God-reliant and gain more self-respect, we realize that we don't need to feel superior or inferior to anyone. Our real value is in being ourselves. Our egos, once so large and dominant, now take a back seat because we are in harmony with the loving God. We find that we lead richer, happier, and much fuller lives when we lose self-will. We become able to make wise and loving decisions based on principles and ideals that have real value in our lives. By shaping our thoughts with spiritual ideals, we are free to become who we want to be. What we had feared, we can now overcome through our dependence on a loving God. Faith has replaced our fear and given us freedom from ourselves. Today I'm free to be me. I'm me everywhere I go, on the golf course, at work, wherever I am, hugging all these people out here. The language may be different, but the feeling's the same. I am me. I love who I'm becoming, I love who I am. I don't beat myself up for the mistakes I've made. The pain my addiction caused, I've made amends. I'm continuing to make amends. I made my original amends list at 9 months clean, and I still have that list. And I made the last amend just about a year ago to an old dope dealer. I went over to his house because I knew where he was still living. I saw him. I knew it was him. I walked up, and he has pigeons. And some hawk was eating his pigeons. So I walked up to him, and I hadn't seen him for well over 20 years. And I looked at him. He looked at me and goes, "You ripped me off." 20 years later, man, you ripped me off. I said, "That's right." And he was holding a gun because he was going to shoot that hawk. And he's big and he's mean and he's loaded and he's kind of wild, a little bit crazy. And, no fear. I'm looking him in the eye and go, "Man, I owe you, man, and I wanted to come and tell you." Because I paid him back the money. Because he had bombed my car. He was the first one I paid. And I said, "Man, I just had to tell you. I had to tell you. I was bad-mouthing you all over town, and I was doing all this stuff. And, man, I'm really sorry. He just lost his brother. His other brother's in prison, And I said, he goes, "What is this, like that thing, My Name is Earl or something?" I said, "Well, yeah, kind of. He goes, "Well, I ain't going to forgive you." I said, I don't care. You don't have to, man. I'm here for me. I said, "I've been clean 20 years. He goes, "I don't know what clean is. I don't want to hear that." And I said, "Well, please, just hear me out, man. I mean, I did you wrong, and I want you to know I don't do that anymore, and I'm not going to do it again, and I'm helping people now, and you were the instigator in me changing my life. You were the catalyst to help me get the help I need, man. because of what I did. And he finally kind of warmed up and accepted that and was pretty good about it, pretty good about it. And so I told the guy, man, I'm done with my amends, What a mistake that was. Because soon enough, this guy says, hey, man, my cousin, 260-pound guy, he says, you broke his thumb. I said, well, yeah, I guess. He says he lost his job, He couldn't work in that field anymore. And I go, yeah, oh, man, can you give me his number? I'm going to have to call this guy, So this program is ongoing, and it is late. I'd love to talk and get something really going good, but it just ain't happening. But you will want to hear Dan, 4:30, Ballroom A. He'll talk about me. I'm glad that people have showed up that did. I got a lot of people here that love me. And because I'm a giver of love and because I have less fear in my life, I am free. I'm totally free to be me everywhere I go. And I'm finding out that I'm okay, man. This traveling is good for me. Living is good. When I faced the prospect of this, they couldn't diagnose this stuff right away, what was wrong with me, the TB. And for a while they said it was some real bad cancer, and it was probably really late stage because of all this lymph nodes that were messed up. And we'll get you ready for chemo and stuff. And for about 10 days I had to visit the closeness of my demise, I guess. And I was not afraid. I can't believe I was not afraid. I had no fear about dying. I had no fear. I didn't want to do the chemo. I might not have. But for 10 days I visited that. I was thinking about getting my affairs in order and checking that out and seeing what goes on. And they said maybe 5, 10 years. And so I had a prayer, I said, God, I don't mind being with you. I am not afraid of that. I'm not too pretty or too young to go. I've had, at that time, 21 good years. I'm good. It's fine. It's beautiful. And I was so sick anyway, I was thinking, just take me now. But I said, however, I said, I have one hope that, I just started to learn about love, unconditional love, giving love, feeling love, knowing real love. I just wanted to have more time to learn more about love and be closer to you. That was my prayer. It was a little shorter than that, but that's the gist of it. And so I did that. I prayed that, and boom, they took a biopsy, and it turned out not to be what they thought, and it was the TB. I took a treatment. It was kind of rough, but it wasn't that bad. Done now. And I got more time. I got more time to learn more about love. Now, I need to be more specific when I pray, because I didn't mean this kind of love, this love sick, love addiction love. Man, I'm telling you, I was telling that guy, Cable Boy, I said, man, I've had more mood-altering experiences and highs and lows than when I was shooting speedballs with this thing, man. It's just, But, I prayed for love and I got it. And I got so many people that love me. Brenda there has helped me so much. And it's just my thing. I'm a big baby about it. But it's real. It's real. And it's what's happening, and I'm going to have freedom. I know I'm going to have freedom. I'm going to be fine. It's going away now. I mean, I am, regular in the bathroom again. And I feel good. I feel good. I feel like I'm going to be okay. Man, even I'm getting tired. So come tomorrow at 4:30. There's going to be a lot of people. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there and sticking with this through me, and I hope that you can understand the freedom that is in here that we have. This has been the kick-ass convention. Everything's top quality here. This is the best world convention I've ever been to, and we're going to love some more. We're going to live some more. We're going to help each other some more. It's just beautiful, man. I'm glad this thing is over with. Come on, man. I'm done now. Thank you.
Let's thank Tom and Lindy for speaking.